I'm trapped in the attic, surrounded, out of breath. There's nothing I can do. One by one, the zombies start grasping onto Aarya. Stop messing around again. This is how my daydreams normally go. Well, used to at least. I've come to the point now where I can recognize my mom coming before I hear the same scream over and over again. Daydreaming is something really interesting, isn't it? Some people think about their daydreams while others don't. Some people love the idea of daydreaming while others despise it. For me at least, daydreaming is an essential part of my day. It could range from anything, from me being in the zombie apocalypse or me working at the local McDonald's. The important thing, though, is that while daydreaming has become some sort of negative activity for people to do today, it provides us with benefits that we never think about, yet reap every single day. Yes, I'm here to tell each and every one of you to be a daydreamer. Why? Because being a daydreamer will help you escape your current realities. It'll help you become a more creative person. And lastly, but maybe most importantly, it'll help you take advantage of something that's simply part of the human experience. Now, when we daydream, we aren't focused on our current realities. As some definitions on the web say, we are distracted from these realities. Dictionaries and definitions have taken the term daydreaming and trashed the power that it has. I was on the Cambridge Dictionary the other day when I saw that the first example for the term daydreaming was stop daydreaming and do some work. And I get it. When first introduced to the term this way, we may want to eradicate it from the face of the earth. But before you do that, let me make my case. These realities can be stress-ridden, whether it be due to work or personal life. And we know this by the increase in mental health cases in places such as the US, where 25% of the young adult population have or are currently suffering from a mental health problem during the pandemic. Now, I made a point a minute back that daydreaming does more work that has a negative connotation. And I'm here to say that it does more work rather than harm. Now, although I myself have never dealt with any mental health problems, the 1.3 billion teens on this earth will agree with me when I say that at some point in our lives, we have dealt with a handful of stress or anxiety. And while different people have different ways of dealing with this, some being negative like drugs or alcohol, I dealt with it by simply daydreaming. Whenever I finished my 5 to 10 minute battle with the infamous zombies, I suddenly felt like this cloud had been lifted over my head and I could truly focus on the obstacles in front of me. And while we daydream, studies done by professors like Dr. Joel Pearson of the University of New South Wales have shown us that we actually become more efficient with our work later on as there's this release of tension and stress. Now, you may not believe me, which is fine, but I'd like to introduce one of the most revolutionary and intelligent figures in the history of the world, Albert Einstein. Yes, Einstein would go on a sailboat and daydream for hours and hours, not only to escape his current work, but to create an environment where new ideas could and would brew. It's even believed by many that Einstein came up with his famous theory of relativity while daydreaming about riding a sunbeam to the edge of the universe. Now, don't get me wrong, a little stress is a good thing. It helps motivate us to do useful and productive things for our time. And research by professors like Dr. Jessica Kalfer from the University of California, Berkeley backs this up. But too much stress needs addressing. Being a daydreamer means allowing to have these external pressures and anxieties removed so that you can clearly focus on the challenges in front of you. Now, it's not only escaping your current realities that daydreaming helps with. My second reason why you should be a daydreamer is that it makes you a more creative person. Now, I want you to think about the amount of times in a day you get to refine your creative skills. Now, I want you to think about the fact that 1/3 of your day goes towards daydreaming. Thinking and making connections help with expanding our already creative minds. A study done by the University of Calgary has shown that daydreaming actually increases the alpha band oscillation in the frontal cortex of the brain. Now, why is this important? Well, people who are shown to have this increased alpha oscillation are also shown to perform better on creative tasks. With this, the connection between creativity and daydreaming becomes stronger than ever before. Now, unfortunately, we become part of this monotonous system that values academic results more and creativity less. A study done by the University of William and Mary has taken the scores from a Torrance test, a test used to identify the creative potential of a human being and analyze these scores. From 1950 to 1980, these scores are pretty similar, but after 1990, they took a steep nosedive. The good thing is, though, we can create opportunities ourselves through daydreaming that helps us recover from this imbalance of skills. For example, when I think about the infamous zombie apocalypse, yep, I agree, it may not be the most academically rewarding way to spend 10 minutes of my life, but I truly do think about real and impactful themes. Themes like family versus friends, or themes like sacrifice versus self-defense. Now, I've spoken a lot about daydreaming that is something that can individually help us, and that's what I'm mainly here to talk about today. But there's a third crucial aspect of daydreaming that many people don't even bother to think about. My third and maybe the most important reason why you should be a daydreamer is that it's simply part of the human experience. Daydreaming isn't a learned skill, but instead is a general human action. Every single one of us, from the day that we're born, has the ability to daydream. And there's no reason why we shouldn't utilize such a special power that we all carry. Here, I'll prove to you how human daydreaming really is. Now, how many of you speak multiple languages? A pretty good amount, right? Well, you probably have your own translation for the term daydreaming in your own language, but let me list out some of my favorites to you. In Polish, for example, the word translates to thinking about blue almonds, or in Russian, it's thinking about heavenly pretzels. My personal favorite, though, is the Portuguese one, viajar na maionese, or in English, traveling in the mayonnaise. And as crazy as these may sound, it proves that the concept of divergent thinking and thinking about something so unimaginable is what is so unique about daydreaming. It's just that people don't know how to utilize these daydreams or don't even want to daydream because of the negative stigma that society has created. Thankfully, though, media such as pop culture has given daydreaming a happier, more romantic tone recently. Harry Styles, for example, has a song titled Daydreaming, where he compares being in love to being in a daydream. And I feel that this correctly ties to what daydreaming is truly meant to be about. Daydreaming isn't meant to dictate your real life. It's not meant for you to overanalyze or stress about. Daydreaming is meant for you to become a happier, more creative, and more productive person that understands the importance of lying back and daydreaming to have a good mind for the challenges ahead of you. I hope that daydreaming can move on from being an excuse for elders to shame kids, and instead, in the right manner, can be something that can truly help children. We live in a society, a world that is in dire need of a revival of creativity and happiness. And I hope that people can see for themselves the same effects that daydreaming has had, the same ways that I have learned to see them. I want every single one of you to embrace your daydreams. Sit back, relax, but most importantly, think about your daydreams. Because at the end of the day, defeating the last of your zombies or traveling in the mayonnaise may be just what you need. Thank you.